Okay, so welcome everyone to this intro evening here for the Shamanic Chinese Medicine program that I've been running for, boy, how many years? I don't know. I think 15 now, so it's been a while. And I'm having my co-host this evening, back to a different view. So John is here, and we're going to be co-teaching in Vancouver next year. So that'll be fun to teach together. So people get the added benefit of having two teachers.
Hmm.
And John has been TAing for a long time with me. When did you graduate?
Oh gosh.
Hard questions. 2012?
I think 2012, 7 years ago, I was going to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And oh my God, well, I graduated 18 years ago from this, from studying with Dr. Johnson. Yeah. So we've been doing this, and the program's been going on in Vancouver, I think about 13 years, something like that too. So anyway, so it's been sort of tried and true, and lots of people go through it and graduate, and anyway, have a pretty amazing experiences. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this evening we're going to talk about what it is. So, what is this course? Why would you want to study this? It's a good place to start to talk about it. Also, some of our experiences that we've had with it, and a little bit about the program. If you want to know what the program's like, how it works, and what you can expect, details and questions and answers, and then we're going to have a meditation at the end. So that's the plan. So the Shamanic Chinese medicine comes from the ancient roots of Chinese medicine. So Chinese medicine goes back a long ways, of course, very far back. It's written on bones, and who knows, it goes back to, of course, the Yellow Emperor. It's looked at as 5,000 years ago. But where did that come from? Because it was really kind of already a system at that point, and it just was really written down at the time, or really formulated more at the time of what is considered to be the time of the Yellow Emperor. But and that's also another mystery, and sometimes they say the time of the Yellow Emperor was that was a whole civilization that came before, or so many different theories. But what we do know is that it really did emerge out of what we would call shamanic roots. And the shamans were the female, and they were the Wu, and they were considered to be the connectors of heaven and earth. And so in those societies, they had the women who were these medicine people, and also the people who were more of what we would now call the less gender identified people. And I've just been reading more about this, and they were what were called the gatekeepers. So they always had a very special role also in all of this, this kind of healing and this kind of ancient shamanic medicine. So
Wow.
that was always actually quite acknowledged, and is still in tribes apparently all over the world that have that are shamanic. So just something I was reading about and thought I'd add in there. It's always nice. So this is the ancient roots of this. And if you look at Chinese medicine, it's very much formulated. It's written down. It's become extremely formulated with China and the advent of communism and creating what they call a standardized Chinese medicine. And this took, thousands of different branches and sort of distilled them all into one thing. And, sort of has created like numbers and just a way of looking at it that's very Western. And so our approach is not so Western. This approach goes back to the ancient roots and the Eastern and the intuitive. And we emphasize in our teaching that side of it a lot. But it's a balance. It's really a very great yin-yang balance, because we have both the traditional Chinese medicine that is this, towards the more standardized, although we're also much more 5-element than what you might come out of the schools with or something like that. But we're acknowledging these two aspects. That there's this aspect that is the written down, formulated in books, and then there's also, at the same time, there's been the shamanic. And the shamanic has actually been passed down through the female lineages and also through a continuous lineage of the shaman who are still around. So the thing with the shamanic is it's the living part. It's not the part that's put in books. It's the part that's based on your own experience. And any acupuncturist or herbalist who is really highly skilled that you go to, or doctor of Chinese medicine, has this. That is how they put their fingers on their pulses, and they know the things so quickly because they are tuned in at that level. They're not using the mind to deduce things. They're actually just feeling and getting the information. They're coming to a sense of knowing. And that's intuitive. It's an intuitive, that's your heart. And so that's the heart instead of the head. And so the shamanic part is that we really want to go into the heart. And we don't want this to be something that comes, really in the head. Now, the really funny thing about that is that we have 5 books. Don't be afraid, because I like to, and John will also be helping you to understand these books. And just because there are 5 of these and they're voluminous books. But they're also awesome references. And you find stuff in here that you will not find anywhere else in any other school of Chinese medicine, not even written down. This is absolutely amazing. And that is, this comes from Dr. Jerry Allen Johnson, who was my teacher for many years, and who I still have a relationship with by, going down and just chatted with him for a few hours last month. Where was it? Yeah, it's just the end of March when I got home. I went down there. I think we hung out for a few hours. So anyway, he's the author. And when I studied with him, he was studying in a garage back of his house and writing out notes, just making copious notes with our friends. So came, and there were very small groups of us. I think there were 12 people in my class. So it was kind of a secret time. I was very fortunate to be doing that with him in the 90s. And then after that, it went into books. It became a big book, and then it became 5 volumes, and then it became a bigger 5 volumes. And he seems to have stopped focusing so much on that. But he is continuing to write books. He just seems he's a writeaholic, I think, at this point. He loves to write. But we are very blessed to have this knowledge and he's calling this, it was called Medical Qigong. Now he's calling this one Chinese Energetic Medicine, but referred to often inside as Medical Qigong and often inside as Shamanic. So so it seems very much that all these things go together. And to me, the word that describes what we do is shamanic. And I like that word, well, just because it describes it, as opposed to shamanic Chinese medicine. It includes qigong. Qigong is an aspect of shamanic Chinese medicine because Chinese, well, Chinese energetic, and that means qi, Chinese qi medicine. So all these things kind of come together. But we think of qi, we can think of qi in many different ways. There's the qi that is like the qi that is the channel qi. Everybody's familiar with like the channel qi. So but qi is just a word for energy. So that's channel energy. And then there is like the body's qi that you breathe in. And again, that's the qi that you breathe in. So that's not all the kind of qi. So in one way, qi is energy that is behind everything. Qi is the Tao. And there isn't anything that exists without this energy. So in some ways, the qi is the Tao. And then in other ways, qi can become very specific. And qigong would actually mean the study of qi, or actually the very powerful study of qi, because it's a gong study. It's not just maybe I'll read it, study. It's like the study, the study of qi. So that is a study of everything. That's what's so amazing about this, is that it is a study of everything. And what you'll find, what people find, is that things start to come into place. There's this greater understanding because the Tao and Taoist mysticism, I just finished teaching Taoist mysticism this past weekend. And in an online class that I was teaching, and it was really, it's one of the fascinating parts of this, because the mysticism is so, it comes from the Tao, and it's just, it agrees with everything. It agrees with the people who have passed, who have near-death experiences. It agrees with all the other mysticism, but it really brings it in this really beautiful way into the body. It has a whole language to it. And they also like to recognize the spirituality in the body itself. And so we aren't, it's so often that, in our society, we really, we go back this mundane approach to things. And, like a liver is a liver. It's like this thing that kind of works inside of us. And the lungs are these sacs, and they got all these little sacs in them. And isn't that great that all these sacs work? And isn't that just, something kind of cool that all this somehow just magically, not even magically, that scientifically evolved through, the survival of the fittest. That all these amazing processes just started to happen because the earth was, everything was sort of formed. I think there was a big bang and everything was all wound up, and it's like boom, and then it just sort of evolved these amazing things to where we are somehow. And the energetic worlds and the spiritual worlds are not included in that. And really, this is the first really society ever that has not acknowledged and constantly participated in what is called the three worlds in shamanic Chinese medicine or medical qigong: the physical, the energetic, and the spiritual worlds. And so this is this work where we're trying to go back to this sense of the spirit and acknowledging that everything is powerful, that everything has meaning, that you have, the world around you has meaning, therefore you have meaning. That there is this power and this meaning and beauty in you and everything else. And so this is part of what we do in this work, is like to bring this in, and we're constantly working towards living more as this kind of a healer, or even just learning this. You are working towards living your life, not just in this mundane, which is a great word for it, reality. We don't recognize anything, that there's anything more than this, but really, living in a in a world that integrates the spirit and the energy, and that you have a consciousness of it. And so you walk through the world with your eyes open. And that's what has been so missing in our culture, is that we don't have the eyes open. When the first settlers or the first invaders came to this continent, the people who lived here couldn't believe that these people were so blind. Like, they're blind people. They're not aware. They're only aware. And just years, probably only 100 years before that, most of those people could have had that consciousness. But it was in that time that, that so many things happened in the Western culture, and that people kind of lost that connection. And so we're about bringing that connection back, bringing that awareness back, so that, because that is so important in healing. You need to be able to see people's energy. You need to be able to read people energetically. And it's who we are, and it's natural for us to do that. It's just that it's been trained out of us. And this work is coming back to that. It's really coming back to the power that you already have and the power that you already are. And in that, there's it's really, that's what it is. It's a whole series. We work on all these levels. We work on the physical level with exercise. We work with breath. We work with meditations. We work with bringing consciousness powerfully into the body and knowing your body from the inside out, moving your energy in the body, so that you are having this experience, a deeper experience of you, and different experience, a consciousness, a way of expanding your consciousness just within your body, owning your body, not being out of your body, but inhabiting your body, right down to your toes. Have awareness there. Having awareness in your whole energy field. All of these things are so important to do, to be able to have this as someone as anyone who's interested really in the healing arts. It's what we need to do. Who we need to be really is in our bodies and in our awareness of energy, and in our awareness and connection to spirit. The chi is what glues it together, the chi field, the energy field in between Jing, Qi, and Shen. So Jing is the essence, which is more matter. The Qi is in the middle, it's the energy, and the Shen is spirit. And so really, it's the communicator, and we're built this way, as having this communicating Qi force that is in between the worlds. So the Qi helps and is there to help us communicate our spirit self, the spirit, our higher selves, and our greater understanding, our greater consciousness, our connection to the great truth, the truth of the universe. That should be coming into us through the Qi and right into our bodies. And so as the body also informs spirit, and so spirit can inform the body, just as the energy roots of the yin, of the earth, rise upward. All of them rise upward, especially if you go at your fingertips, get like a tree. All the yin heads up towards the heavens. All the yang energy flows down to the earth. And so that, again, even on this scale of heaven and earth, the Qi is this communicator. And in this case, you as a human being. And this is why they were called the Wu and the Wu Yi, as those who are the connectors of heaven and earth. This is the powerful, powerful position, the powerful healer. This is who he or she is this one that connects. And so when you get the books, and it's a series of 5, and every seminar, not every seminar, some of them, but in the beginning, especially first year, you're going to go between all of these different ones. They all have amazing, it's very esoteric, and very, very also down to earth and useful. Let's see more. Okay, that's the Poe. Okay, but that looks a little bit more, so we kind of just information. I always tell students, don't get overwhelmed by that, because it's going to be explained to you in a way that makes a lot of sense. And so in many ways, the books are more for reference and for you going in and being able to get a lot more detail on areas that are really of great interest to you that way. So I am very glad that I myself personally have been able to, that I found this. It seems kind of miraculous how I stumbled upon Qigong in 1987, I guess, a while ago, and did an 8-month retreat, 88, 89, where I just did Qigong. Many, many hours a day. So really had a very powerful healing with Qigong. And then did a lot more studying in the area of Chinese medicine and all sorts of healing, broaden the expanse, other forms of meditation, to India, just lots of adventures there. But then when I came across and was doing that kind of work, healing, and I was teaching Qigong seminars, started teaching Qigong seminars in 89, actually, after that long retreat, and then going to New York, and with Mantak Chia, getting to be a teacher of Qigong, and then becoming an advanced teacher of that over the next couple of years. Which took really a lot of practice. So I really had to get the physical stuff down at that point. But when I came across Dr. Johnson later on in the 90s, I was like, as soon as I heard it, I knew I was going to do that. It was one of those things that it's like, oh, that's what I'm doing next. And it's really become the focus of my life. So I'm grateful that I had that opportunity in my life. Anyway, so that's a little bit of background. How about you, John? Would you like to add?
I found it similarly like you. It was actually just presented by a mutual friend of ours, Minka DeVos. Gave me the information about Qigong, and it was a flyer about the course that we're talking about. And it was interesting because the flyer landed in my hand, and instantaneously I knew that I needed to take this course, though I'd never heard about it or knew anything about it other than what she told me in the 5 minutes before that. So I found it quite powerful, and it's become my life as well, continuing to do this work through my private practice and offering classes around Vancouver to the general public, as well as private classes to individuals and different senior centers. I do a lot of focus with seniors. And I found that that you learn in this course is healing has to happen on all levels. One of the things that I was challenged by and why I found this work so powerful is in Western medicine, it does very good at the physical aspect of healing, but they don't necessarily take into account the mental and emotional part of healing, and never the spiritual. At least in my experience, I can't speak for all, but and I found through this course that you start to realize how you can start to work and bring that healing in all levels. So it's not just a physical healing. For example, someone goes through and gets cancer. There is so much more to that cancer than just that disease that's affecting their body. There's also the emotions that help create the container for that cancer to form, and the mental thoughts that are keeping it in place, and the spiritual beliefs that create this karmic challenge for someone. And so this course gave me all those things I was looking for to kind of find the answers. Not that I had to deal with that issue myself, but has helped me help others work with that. And that's where I found this to be quite powerful, because I was able to do some of my own personal healing. I had a lot of digestive issues. That was my big issue. And I was able to take care of them through Qigong. And now I don't have them anymore. And I was actually able to do just one exercise that we learned, and I found it to be quite powerful. And shifting that within about 2 weeks, I got rid of my symptoms. So it's one of the exercises, one of the first exercises you learn in the course as well. So it's called the 5 Yang exercise. So that for me has been quite powerful in giving me something, that I could go, oh yeah, I see that, and I can pull that in, and then I can go a little deeper. So I needed a little bit of proof to kind of make sure that it worked for me, because I'm from a analytical background, so I needed that little analytical proof. Try something, see if it works, do a little study on it, and then since then now I've found that I want to go more into the other levels too. So that's a big part of the practice for me. Yeah.
Okay, so the class is over. The initial, at least the beginning part of the class is the practitioner level, and that's what we're looking at here. As far as we know, it's going to be at the Stanley Park Pavilion in Vancouver. If you're coming in from out of town, sometimes we get good rates at the Barclay Hotel, or else people stay in Airbnbs and such, which are also pretty good, and people share those, and we figure things out to make that work.
It starts on the 25th of September, if anyone's looking for dates, 25th to the 29th.
Yeah. So, see. So, yeah, so that'll be the first one, and then there's another one in November, March, and in June. And by June, you had gone through a lot of transformation by then, and pretty much after the third seminar, you are doing distance sessions with people and kind of getting used to the fact that you have all these abilities that you didn't know that you have, and generally getting amazed by how that works and how easily that works. And this is really like the toolbox of you. This is who you are. We're not. There's nothing is being imposed on you. It's more about what is being released, like limiting thought forms. And there's even, I think it's in the second year, we even go through all the limitations, limiting beliefs, which is actually, these are all more Taoist, almost like proverbs, but writings from the ancients, forms of the Taoists and the Buddhists. But limiting beliefs. And so our limits are mostly from our limiting beliefs. And so you find out, everyone discovers all these amazing abilities that they have. And by the fourth seminar, you're kind of well into that. And then we have a clinic. And the clinics are wonderful. And you have students there from other levels. And you would be having master's level students next year who would be working with you, master's level and doctoral level students. who would be there as part of that. So you get great people who would be teaching you. We do have the other year, therapist year, and they're just therapist year is just rounding up right now, and so it goes practitioner, therapist, and masters. And on a rare occasion, there's even an opportunity to do a doctoral level, which would include doing a thesis dissertation. So that's quite challenging, and challenging also to.
That's where I'm at right now.
John is in right now. He's doing that part. So yeah. So let's see. The classes. The first class is more about you. So class 1, P1, is about building your own energy, and it's learning the self-care and important aspects of self-care. That's 5 days. So we cover a lot of things in there. And even people who are doctors of acupuncture, oriental medicine, learn a lot in that class. It's a very powerful class, and throughout the course. So we have people who have lots of other trainings come through this course. We've had doctors in the course, of course, Western doctors, Eastern doctors, many different areas that people come from, and because it's quite unique. There's, this information is not something that you're going to find comprehensively put together in any other place. So.
And one of the things I want to also mention too is, no matter what your background is, you're going to find the connections with medical Qigong, or shamanic medicine, I should say. Because I actually am also a movement dance therapist. So I work with people doing therapy where people, instead of talk therapy, they work through movement. And I found that I've done a lot of Qigong practices in working with my clients, because some of the skills that I've learned have helped me become a better therapist. So just to show you how, even though it might not look like it's a direct connection, there are so many ways that this can be used. We've got people that are completely different. They may be in a business, a corporate world or something, and they found that the Qigong just allowed them to be more calm and work in a way that was more productive for their energy and for supporting their staff. And so that's the thing that I found fascinating, is it really fits with lots of things that we do in our lives.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So there are definitely people who take this in a lot of directions. One of my favorites right now is someone who has really become, I think, quite a popular horse whisperer through this program, and does healing on horses, but she also talks to the horses, and she's being flown around to horse barns in Canada and also in California. So that's a direction. Also, people working on house clearing is another unusual direction that can come out of this, and to be really good at it too. It's not about doing a ceremony and waving some sage at all. It's not what it is. So it has quite the scope and scale of potentials within it. So I'm trying to think of other unusual. Most often people are combining it, at least initially, with other skills that they have. And there's some skills, obviously it's great for anyone who has background in the healing arts, any kind of healing arts.
Yeah, and a lot of yogis have found it to be very beneficial. So they use it a lot.
Yes, because the yin aspect of yoga, and people are looking for more in their yoga, and the person who has this background in Qigong is able to just take yoga and just take yoga to this next level, because you start incorporating the energy flows and bring people's awareness to those, more awareness through the body, more awareness in the breath. So those are great ways to combine it. Yes. Yeah, and it's an ongoing thing. You don't like learn it and you don't come out. Obviously, we're not looking at people to come out some cookie cutter way of, now we want you to practice it just like this. So when you do it just this way. We even have something called magic hands, or magic gloves, not magic gloves, but that gives you magic hands, where it's you learn all these protocols and then you just let go and just let the energy come through and move you. And sometimes that can be an extremely powerful part of a session, when you just allow the energy to go through your hands and express itself. Sessions can look a lot of different ways. And so when we have the clinics, it's very much table sessions. So there are 90-minute sessions from start to finish. So that's taking an intake with the person. Then they're on the table doing table work, and afterwards you're talking with them and you're giving them prescription exercise, which is Qigong meditations and, well, prescription meditations and exercises. So basically that. However, you could also have sessions that are just very, very much talk communication sessions, which are more soul retrieval, which is actually more my specialty, because I'm more, I love the shamanic. I love the energetic too. I love to do the energetic practices, but people come to me for the shamanic because I kind of kick ass in that department. Yeah, I also teach channeling and mediumship, because I consider these also to be really essential parts of this being good on both sides. You need to have this to be a really well-developed healer. You need to have the ability to communicate on both sides, both worlds. You need to be able to communicate in the spirit world, energetic world, and in the physical. So being able to have expertise in these areas is really powerful and really works well. So that's the first seminar is about you. The second seminar, we get into doing table work, and it's your first getting into these protocols. And I think we even get into our first magic gloves right there. It's also a lot of meditations, because part of this work really requires coming into the moment and really being present. And so, sort of like Eckhart Tolle talking about the power of now, in order to really be a great healer, you have to be super present, not just listening, but listening with a real deep presence. And listening on a lot of levels, listening not just to the voice, but into the voice, and listening into the energies, and listening into the bodies. And so the whole process is helping you to listen more and more to what is there. And that might sound like it's hard to do, but you will get it, because eventually everybody gets it. It's just a matter of practice and persistence. And you get it. Nobody comes without these. Nobody is just of the physical world. We are all of all the worlds. Therefore, we can all be aware, consciously participating in all of these worlds at once. So that's a lot of what we're working on in that second seminar, is really opening up to that, and then expressing it in giving table work. One of the things I love about this is that it's sort of like this. It can be a vocation and a spiritual path at the same time. There's nothing like working with other people, like putting yourself in service of others to bring spirit to you, to bring the power, heavenly power down and come out through you, when you make yourself that conduit, then all the divine energies and everything want to use you. They want to be moving through you. And so that's one of the great things about working this way, is that's what you're opening yourself up to. You're opening yourself up to being this vessel, this energetic vessel that's bringing this through, bringing through light and energy and truths. And at that point, well, I guess it's probably now into the next seminar. Next seminar is really a toolbox where you get all sorts of skills. And at the same time, we also do, and there's a lot of magical stuff that happens in these classes. Some of it is laid out as part of the class. Quite magical experiences in the room itself. We set things up to have very strong experiences, not just a meditation, but it's sort of a spatial energy invocations of just working to further understanding. It's always about gaining understanding, and it's experiential. I'm very big on teaching being experiential. I don't want anybody to just load a bunch of information in your head. I don't find it useful. In the long run, it's good to have, we need some basic, you need that knowledge, but really you need to have it in you as an experience. And so that's, I'm big on that. So it's not just about, you can like say the things back to me. No, it's about what you do. And I also, as a teacher, really appreciate everyone for who they are. And so I don't just see that in people that I work with, but I also see that in my students, and have a great appreciation for them. And I can, see when people come in what their gifts are going to be, and the gifts are not the same. So one person may be a really very scholastic and maybe a great writer, and that's a wonderful gift. And another person may have no gifts in that area at all. Maybe they're just more, able to feel things. And so I've had people I even had, and she's still a good friend because she lives near me, and she was always considered to have extreme learning disabilities. And yet she is so intuitive, and her touch is, when she puts her hands on you, you feel this, it's like the presence of angels coming through. And I appreciate all of those things. So, it's just different. People are different. So I'm always your cheerleader to support you in being you, because I know that you have something unique to give. And if I can be a part of you showing up in the world with your unique gifts, then, that's my honor to help with that.
And I need to follow in on that, because as a student of yours, and now having the honor of getting a chance to collaborate with you, I can say that that is one of the strongest parts about the course for me, was that you were able to support everybody in their working their own way, because I know for me, feeling the energies took a little longer. The teaching and all that stuff, I taught classes after the first seminar because I was so excited about the Qigong. And I have been teaching ever since, but the other parts took a little longer, and I felt very much accepted and supported. And because that energy was there, my classmates were able to do that for me too, as well as me supporting them in areas where they felt not as strong that maybe I could offer them. So that whole atmosphere feeds down into the class. So it's actually makes for a very lovely experience for everyone.
Yeah, I like that to be a part of the teaching, It really is teaching by example.
Mm.
We can be, great supporters of each other. That's the kind of teacher that's always worked for me. And, it's really the Tao that is the way of the Tao, to not be imposing, but to be with, and to really, just to go in and to really support everyone for who they are. And, sometimes it means the whole class has to be patient with someone for a while. And, something beautiful comes out of that. And everyone has a real experience that's different from an imposed experience. And so when I'm teaching, when I'm in charge, that is the way that the class is. It's very unfolding, very natural, spontaneous. We have a lot of spontaneity in the classes. Sometimes something comes up and it's like, wow, that's great, that's come up. Let's work with that. So anyway, I think I want to ask Edward and Kristen, because that seems to be who is with us tonight. And we will probably post this. I know I'm going to post it on my website, so we'll have other people watching it later because people said they couldn't come. But so questions, and feel free to unmute your audio or else type in a question if you like. So
And also, I would be curious just to know what your interest is. If somehow something brought you to this conversation tonight, and I would be curious to know what's that morsel that's kind of drawing you here that you would like to know more about. Oh, Edward wrote, "I have no mic."
Oh, I can give you a mic. Okay, just ask. Thank you. Okay, Edward, you're free to speak.
He's an acupuncturist. Yeah. Okay.
You really literally have no mic. Oh.
No, I don't have a mic. Oh.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Then
right.
You can ask a question in the chat then.
Yeah, he just mentioned that he's an acupuncturist, so he's definitely familiar with Chinese medicine.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I know that Kristen also has a background, very strong background in the healing as well, from Edward. Okay.
My friend introduced me to you. Oh, Rachel Rocco.
Oh, right. Yeah. Great. Yeah, I think she'd mentioned you. Did we actually meet? Oh, now I'm going to start getting a conversation. You have to type. Sorry about that. I'm trying to remember if you came in one day, an acupuncturist. So, and I know that you're in Vancouver. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay. I think I remember.
It's Powell River.
Oh, you're in Powell River. Oh, okay. I've not met you. You're in Powell River. Oh, okay. Very cool. Well, I was going to say I was going to invite you, and then Kristen's over on the island. So I was going to invite both of you to the clinic that we have coming up in June. But of course, you're invited. But yeah, so we have the clinic in June.
Well, Kristen just wrote that she says, I practice 5-element acupuncture and naturopathic medicine. I would say that I have a very energetic practice. My mic isn't working either.
Oh, wait a second.
I'm on the island.
Wait a second. Let me unmute you, though. You were muted. Okay, now does your microphone work, Kristen? No. No. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, yes. Yeah. So that's awesome, Kristen. I know you have a very powerful practice going already. So, but this will definitely, it's a great way to take it to another level. So we have the some more silent Q&A, but you're certainly free to add any questions that you have. The book series. So I don't think neither of you have the book series. So you get all 5 of them. I ship them from California. They are $435 US for the books, but that's the books that takes you the whole way through for the 3 years, even 4 or 5 years sometimes, like John. So that's all the required reading is right there, but you do need it all right in the beginning. And then you can get started and get ready for the year by doing some reading in advance. So that can be fun. Let's see. On the second year, neither of you would need to have Chinese medicine. So I was going to say second year, there's a requirement for Chinese medicine, but not if you already have it. You definitely both already have it. And also love the fact, that different kinds of Chinese medicine showing up with different viewpoints, the 5-element, and then the more traditional, so different kinds of Chinese medicine. And what we do is different. We're probably a little closer to the Worsley School because we do have a strong emphasis on 5 elements. The officials we call the sages. So we have some different names. But it does, having had 5-element acupuncturists in one of my classes, maybe a couple of times I've had 5-element. I know that it goes really well and that people with that actually do get a lot out of the classes. So that's always good. So as John said, it took him a long time to get the intuitive part. And a lot of times that is, the piece that people are really looking for. Because that is, the intuitive part is really when the magic kind of happens, or what seems to be the magic happens with the intuitive. And I did not get the intuitive part when I started, and I really, really wanted it, and there was no one to teach me. I didn't know how, because when I went through, it was really not taught. You were expected to somehow suddenly know these things, and there was no intuitive teaching there. It's like, how do I do this? So what I did was I paid attention. I paid attention to my experiences when I was working with people. And I knew that there was definitely energy happening. I could feel that. It certainly was all that Qigong. I had great experience of my own energy and energy emission into people's bodies. So that part was, and I could feel into bodies. I could feel blockages in bodies, and I could, put my hands around things and heal, shoulders, arms, whatever. I could do that Qi emission. I was very aware of what was happening inside there. I wasn't getting, great information about this person or anything else that was kind of beyond that. And I just started to let myself just kind of sink into the energies, and my body started to move. And I paid attention to these movements that I was having in my body like starting to turn and my head going places. And it was like, okay, that must mean something. And I call myself the Helen Keller, because it was Helen Keller of, the psychic world, because eventually through that, I just kept listening and listening. And and like noting that this means something. It's like, oh, and my head would go down, and I started to realize that, oh, that's telling me about the energy. It's this head down energy. Yeah. And then I would start to get a feeling, then I get an emotion that went with it. And then eventually I got words that went with it. It's like, oh yeah, and that's the right words that go with that energy. And it just slowly built up, and I discovered how to do this. And then because it took me forever, that's also the people, if it's hard for you to learn, you become a good teacher at it. Because I know that if I could do it, you could do it. And so I slowly built that up. And then when it came to other people, it's like, yeah, you can do this. I know you can, because I could. And I can show you a lot of shortcuts. You don't have to like take forever to learn it the way that I did. You can actually, get a lot more, you can get it a lot more quickly than me. And a lot of the students do, just the slow ones like John and I take a little longer. But then when you get it, you really get it, right, John? Yeah. So
I definitely feel more confident in that, a lot more confident.
yeah. And you know it. I mean, it's sort of like you know that it's real because it took you so long to get it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any the doubter part's gone, because I know we were also maybe slow to be convinced or something. What is this? I don't know, some sort of a, and what I like too is, the past people get it really quickly if they're really visual. They'll often get all sorts of visual stuff coming in.
Mm.
People who aren't visual take a lot longer, for the most part, to get, not a lot longer. Actually, they can take longer to get it. But when you get it with a sense of knowing. And that sense of knowing is really, really helpful, because you get it as a body sense. And so it really comes into you quite deeply. And then that starts to also, the more you pay attention to it, the more you work with it, you start to get the other glimpses here and there of flashes of images, and then you get some words that just really fit, and all of that goes together well. The other part of this that I find goes together with it amazingly well is light body meditation. And I teach that once a year. In January, I start a class, and the light body meditation is sort of the perfect complement to get you out there in a very powerful way into the spiritual realm, and to become familiar with moving through other dimensions. So works well with this. So that's why we call it shamanic Chinese medicine. Because it does have some kind of out there qualities to it. It is a whole, and then there's a great community, because once you get into this, you will want to be able to speak with your friends who speak this language. So you actually, when you come to classes, the classes really bond. It's really pretty wonderful. And because you're going through a whole journey together. So love the journey.
I'm having the wonderful advantage that my graduating class for the first 3 years, which goes all the way up to the master's level, are now, there's 4 of us out of the 6 people that graduated that course are in the doctorate course together. So we've all decided to continue on, and it's quite a nice thing to have these people with me in this journey.
Yeah. 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 Now I actually put those classes together. You're lucky you got through with 6, because now they're all 12s and 14s and 16s, which is nice though. It's nice to have a bigger group to go through with. gets more interactive. But also, you guys are really tight, as you say, and you've all done, you know, both you and Caroline, of course, are teaching so much too. So, yeah.
A lot of great things happening with the group.
Yes.
And it's a great example of how we all have unique skills that Wendy was able to kind of support us in. One of our classmates, her name is Karen. She now works with a Chinese doctor out in Burnaby, doing amazing work with lots of healing sessions on people, doing tu and na and other forms of shamanic medicine with clients, and not teaching as much. And I focus more on the teaching side. So there's just another example of how this can go in many ways, and you find the things that you have strength in, and you can really develop them even more.
That's true. The four of you have all really, this is your work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Karen now more and more isn't being asked for the Tuina. She's being asked for the shamanic Chinese medicine work. That's what they want.
Mm-hmm.
In the clinic. So, and that's really, this is a really kind of a leading edge kind of work to come in. So that's great. It's ancient. It's the old part, but it's also the missing part. So that's pretty cool.
You do have to love that Chinese medicine and all of this is considered alternative, and it's been around for thousands of years. I find that always ironic.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to, so questions out there, type it in if you have another question, because I'm going to bring us through one of our meditations. This is sort of a first seminar meditation. Sort of, it is his first seminar meditation. Okay, so it's all quiet out there, but of course you'd have to put it on the chat. So, all right. So this meditation is the colloquial name for it is the 1 through 10 meditation. But it's also called the Transforming Darkness into Light meditation. Something, do you remember the other name? Something enlightenment. There's a Chinese name,
Yes, I was just going to look that up because I can't remember.
Right.
One moment, please.
I called it the Taoist 10-step internal alchemy meditation.
I think I might have it here in a second.
But it is the meditation that we really practice all the time, part of the work that we do.
I can't find it, but it's
something like her on something. I can't remember the last word. I think it's three words or maybe 4 words. But those are Chinese words anyway, so unless you're good at that, it's okay. But it's a 10-step Taoist alchemy, internal alchemy meditation. And the first steps are what would be called, did you find it?
No, I can't find it.
Anyway, so the first steps are like the inner smile, if you've done inner smile meditation. So it really begins with that. and goes on from there to help you connect your body, bring the body into the present moment, be in your body, be in the earth, be connected to heaven, to balance the energies of earth and heaven, and to fill up your Wei Qi fields, the external Wei Qi fields, not just the internal, but the external Wei Qi fields all around you. And so, powerful meditation, and it's part of what we do every time before doing a session with somebody or in your practice. It's something that you can do before you start the day to clear the room and to create a really great energy for people to be in. You can do it in your home. It's a very multi-purpose meditation because it's transforming darkness into light. So useful. Useful in that way when you don't just clean your house physically. And I have to say, well, anyway, I do house clearing. So having a clear house is quite an important thing. And if you want to, if you think your apartments or your place that you're living in is too small, you do some of that, you can actually gain space. It's quite weird. I did it for a shop here in San Anselmo where I live, which was the smallest shop. And now the big joke is that her shop got bigger. There was an aisle that no one could ever walk through. Now there's lots of space there to walk through. It is so weird. It's just a joke now. It's like, wow, how did that happen? But when you've got dark energies hanging around in your space and people don't like walking through them, or they make the space compress, it's very weird. And then now that space is open and people, business has changed. Anyway, let's transform some darkness into light.
Okay, and real quick, it's Hao An Wei Ming.
Oh, I was close. How, yeah, H-A-U, how.
Hao An Wei Ming, changing darkness into light.
Wei Ming, yeah, Ming, light, yeah, there we go. Wei Ming. Cool. Anyway. Okay, so let's begin by breathing and finding a good posture with your spine erect. You can do this either sitting or standing. Letting your breath be full and deep. You'd like to put an emphasis on deep breathing. So that belly expand and contract with the breath. Firmness in the perineum. Anal sphincter closed and tongue on the palate just above the front teeth. And so that is part of our meditations to help contain the energy and to help allow the energy to move. The tongue above the teeth there helps to open those energy roots. And having some firmness, not squeezing or tight or anything like that, just also makes the perfect container for the qi at the base of the body, which can otherwise be leaking qi. Good. And so breathing deeply and inviting in the qi, inviting in the energy from all around you, welcoming the energy as you breathe. I'm aware that your breath contains the air that you're breathing in. Each breath you take brings in vitality, brings in energy, brings in spirit. And welcoming the spirit around you in the breath and smiling as you do, and that welcomes it even more. And so as you smile, you open up your energy fields, and your energy fields immediately start to feel different. And when you roll your eyes more upward and you smile, there's a golden light that is then beginning to pour down the top of your head and pour down over the scalp, coming down the forehead, down the face, the neck, the chest, coming down through the chest, down your arms, your inner arms to your fingertips, coming down through the torso and the front of the torso, the whole front of the body, down through the groin area, the insides of the legs, all the way down to the feet. Looking up again and seeing light again, golden light, golden energy, liquid chi being poured down the top of the head, and this time melting down the back of the scalp all the way down around the ears, down the neck, relaxing the neck, relaxing everywhere that this golden light touches. Coming down over your shoulders and down the outsides of the arms to the fingertips. Melting down through the back, through the scapula, through the spine, all the rib cage. Melting down, warming, releasing, transforming as it comes down over the buttocks, outsides and backs, sides and the backs of the legs, all the way down to the feet and toes. And then again, look up and seeing this golden light. Imagine now a funnel on the top of your head. At the very top of the head, there's an opening called the Bai Hui, and that energy begins to pour in and fills your brain, your left hemisphere of the brain, now filling with golden light. Becoming luminous, becoming relaxed, now crossing over into the right hemisphere of your brain, and your right hemisphere opening up and feeling more relaxed. Crossing over to help connect the two hemispheres so they talk to each other. Illuminating the cerebellum at the back, illuminating the brainstem, the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, the thalamus gland, hypothalamus glands, all of the glands of the brain, now illuminating the eyes, now filling with this golden light, and that light pouring into the visual cortex, the optic nerves. Letting this light fill into the sinus cavities, illuminating them in the forehead and on the face, the cheeks, letting this light move into and illuminate the ears and the inner ears. It's this healing quality to this light. And as you follow it, you bring awareness and healings and consciousness to these areas of the body. And bringing this light now into the mouth, into the gums and into the teeth, the tongue, down the throat, the larynx, letting this light fill up the thyroid gland at the base of the throat, and then continue down to the thymus gland behind the breastbone, letting this light up and pour into the heart from here. Taking a breath as your heart illuminates. Good, this illuminates and helps the heart to feel loved and appreciated, brings a sense of harmony and balance to the heart. And the golden light can turn into a beautiful, soft, red light here. And that red light with each breath could become brighter or softer, depending on what the heart needs. From the heart, the golden light pours into the lungs. With each breath you take, feel the lungs becoming more open, more filled, more harmonious, sense of well-being in the lungs. Feeling that energy turn into a beautiful white light in the lungs. Good, and from the lungs, this light continues to move into the liver. Now sending some gratitude as we go to the liver and say hello. The liver as it receives this light, getting a sense of openness in the liver. sense of relaxation, some letting go in the liver. And perhaps even a beautiful green glow coming from the liver. And the energy moving now from the liver over into the spleen. And a yellow, no, I'm not doing the lights yet. So coming into the spleen. And the spleen opening up and relaxing, receiving the light, and feeling the gratitude that goes along with this light. And just the awareness that is being brought to the spleen helps the spleen to feel more empowered and maybe get a golden glow. And from there, the energy continues into the kidneys. And again, letting the kidneys be open and receive both left and right, the yin and the yang kidneys. Receiving this energy. Wonderful gift for the kidneys. Which always like some more energy. Until they begin to have beautiful blue glow, a little darker on the left, a little brighter on the right. And the golden light now beginning to move into the yang organs and the digestive system, coming up into the stomach. Feeling the stomach open, relax, and breathe as the light moves into the stomach. Then moving into the gallbladder, the pancreas. Letting the light move into the small intestine, moving through the small intestine. And seeing how much you can be inside of your body. And that inner experience, that inner body experience. All the way to the cecum. And then moving into the colon here. Coming up the right side. Across the transverse, down the descending. Bring this light all the way through. Reverse colon cleanse. All the way through the rectum and the anus. Bring that golden light from here into the bladder, illuminating the bladder, and then illuminating the reproductive organs. And letting the energy sink in here. And then coming down all the way through your legs with this golden light, all the way down through the knees, down through the calves, all the way down to your feet. Feel your feet now on the floor. And as if they are now melting and sinking into the floor. Letting roots go down from your feet into the earth. Down one body length, two body lengths, down into the earth, spreading out. In the earth, spreading vertically and horizontally, moving both these directions in the earth. And then gathering from the earth. We'll go into more detail with that in classes, but gathering the energy, letting that come in, letting yourself be nourished by the earth, be a part of the earth, letting that rise up to the feet, rise up the legs, coming up your back, coming up over the head, And pouring down through the tongue, down the front of the body, and filling into the lower dantian. Energy, the energy of the earth, energy of fire, the energy of water, those two elements coming up, pouring into the cauldron in the lower dantian and creating steam. Letting this steaming energy, perfect balance of yin and yang, begin to steam through the organs of the body, the digestive organs, yang organs, the yin organs, deeper organs. Letting this steaming energy, the steam is very balanced and healing. Comes out into the arms, the palms, comes down to the legs, the feet, comes up into the head. Imagine this steam, and with practice you feel the steam quite strongly. You can bring it back into the sacrum and the coccyx and send the steam up into the skeletal system, if you like. Letting it build up. So you have steam building up inside your body, and then it blows out through the palms after it's built up very much. It opens up and starts to, this is the steam vent is in the palms of the hands. From here, the steam starts to gather around the feet, sort of like a pressure cooker. At a certain point, it starts to comes out and wrapping around your feet now and pumping around the ankles, your calves, steaming energy cocooning you, coming up around your thighs and your hips, cocooning you more and more, coming up around your waist, your chest, your neck, coming up to over your head, so that you're really immersed in this steaming energy. Good. And when that feels very filled up, you're going to be lifted up. The crown is opening up, and your awareness now is coming up above your head. Almost like the branches of a tree, perhaps, reaching upward towards the stars, letting your awareness move upward towards the sky, and inviting in the divine, inviting in the Tao, inviting this light to pour in. It's a shaft of light coming right into the crown of the head, illuminating your upper dantian, area of the head with light, dropping to the area of the heart or the middle dantian, letting that light up, and going down to the lower dantian, letting the lower dantian also light up. And these three dantians create an inner column of light, the Taiji pole, the very center of the body. Go ahead and begin to breathe into this Taiji pole from the palms of the hands, from the soles of the feet, from the crown of the head, breathing in through the body as if the body is a sponge. And that light can be gathered right into the very center. Also breathe in through all of the chakra gates. Breathing in, and when you breathe in, the energy accumulates and gathers in the Taiji pole, and as you take the breath out, you go out again and more light is gathered in. Till this light becomes very, very bright in the very center of the body, very bright, very luminous, and begins to vibrate. It becomes so strong, so powerful. Building up until it shines out to fill the whole body with light. Breathing in some more, gathering energy from all around you as you breathe, building that up. till the whole body is so vibrant that it shines out into the first, second, and third fields around you. That is the physical, energetic, and spiritual fields around you, now all being filled with light. And now just let yourself sit inside of this energetic cocoon. And feel that awareness, how your awareness isn't now so closely connected just to the skin of the body, but it's also in that perimeter, physical perimeter, coming about 3/4 of an inch off the body, and then more into that emotional field, a little bit more elusive, perhaps 10 inches off the body, then out into the spiritual field, which could be 24 inches altogether from the body, or 36 inches, or maybe 6 feet out off the body, depending upon the spiritual development. Just enjoying this energy now, this feeling of your field being full and vibrant. But as you are in this field, we ask that the Tao, the divine, all the beings of light who might be here working with us to watch over us and to help us in our work going forward, to help us to make clear decisions perhaps around taking this class, to be guided in the work that we do with other people, and most of all, that what we do is in harmony with the Tao, and that we can be of service to others, and that somehow what we are doing creates a positive wave that goes out and touches all beings. Good. After we complete that part, we put our palms one over the other at the navel, on the navel. Take some breaths up the front and down the front of the body, microcosmic orbit. Rub the navel 9 times in each direction. Gather the chi there. Rub the palms together. Palms over the eyes. Breathe in. Exhale down. And then we'll just rub around the face and then tap down the arms, up the back of the arm, and down the other arm, back. Around the chest, the arms, chest, breast area, down to the navel, down below the navel, the sea of chi. Around the belt, the waistline, back, kidneys, and tapping down the outsides and the backs of the legs and the feet, and coming back up to the navel. Okay, so I think we got a wrap there. Hope you enjoyed that. Any feedback from out there? since we can't see you or hear you, so we just have to feel into you. So we do the Helen Keller part. Ah, how do they feel? Ah,
Got a nice prayer hands from Kristen.
yes, very nice. You too. Okay, great. Great to have you both with us. Okay, and then prayer hands to whoever else is out there listening to this in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for being with us. Okay, I have to.